was driving recklessly when he hit another car. That car flipped and caught fire, killing the driver. Another car was also hit, but the driver was okay. Still unclear right now if drugs or alcohol played a part in the crash.
Sacramento police investigating after a man was shot and killed and another was hurt. This happened around 11:30 last night on 5th Avenue near McClatchy Park. When officers got there, they found the two men shot. One was pronounced dead there, the other taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Officers are still working to figure out what led to the shooting. No new details were released today in the deadly shooting on I-5. It shut down all lanes of southbound I-5 for several hours last night. Live Copter 3 was over the scene yesterday afternoon as investigators looked for evidence. This was near Arena Boulevard. We do know that one man was shot and killed. Another person was taken to the hospital. Investigators have said the shooting does not appear to be random.
Well, it is one of the largest Caltrans projects in our area, and it's the largest one we've seen in years. We're going to tell you why it won't likely impact your commute.
And in the weather, good-looking day, but cooler than yesterday. And yeah, that north wind is coming back, and I think we're going to have a gusty day tomorrow. More on that in just a couple of minutes.
Fair food and carnival rides returning to a Northern California county soon. The changes as this long-running fair returns to action. Work is now underway on a big highway construction project to repair and improve Highway 50.
Yeah, this $460 million project spans the length of Highway 50 from I-5 up to Watt Avenue. Now, the project will be adding carpool lanes, improve transition ramps, and also add a sound wall between Stockton Boulevard and 65th Street. Crews will also connect the center divide of the elevated WX freeway with a third bridge to make room for more lanes. They'll also be ripping up older concrete and replacing it with newer, stronger material.
Freeway in general hasn't been touched for a while as far as a good repair for 51 lane miles of repair pavement where they're going to get reinforced concrete. So that's huge. It's the last time, this actual section got redone complete was in the 1960s. So this is a nice modernization, a nice facelift for this area.
Most of the work will happen during the overnight hours. The completion date for the project is scheduled for December 2024 or possibly early 2025. Well, because of that construction, homeless people who'd been living there under the Highway 50 along the WX have been relocated. Caltrans says that they posted 72-hour notices on Friday, and this morning crews started clearing out the camps and the refuse left behind at the request of the city. Caltrans says that it has set up a space at 6th Street where the homeless can go. The city delivered porta potties there and cleaning stations to that location over the weekend.
So we need to make sure we clean up these encampment sites for the construction workers that are working here, and to make sure we kind of rope off those construction zones. One of the resources that we are providing them is some shelter space, and also just in general, like how to get some help. We always find that providing resources is the best method to help some individuals who don't know how to get the resources.
Caltrans says that it did some outreach about a month ago, so a lot of folks there moved out before the 72-hour notices even went up.
An alert to drivers in the Delta. The Iselton Bridge is now shut down and will remain closed through April 23rd. Drivers should use River Road and the Walnut Grove Bridge as a detour or avoid the area and use I-5. The Delta bridges were all built in the 1920s and need new parts.
All right, KCRA 3 weather, and it was just one of those beautiful days in Calaveras County to get this shot. Daffodils at the Ironstone Winery in Murphys. The flowers just popping there in full bloom along the road to the vineyard there and the grounds themselves.
A beautiful day in Sacramento as well. Folks out enjoying the cool weather outside today in Land Park. The trees moving just a hair in the breeze. You have to look pretty close to see that there. For more on the conditions outside, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Mark Finan.
And the breeze becomes a bit more obvious here in West Sacramento out at Sutter Health Park. Yeah, now you can see that breeze. We are going to have that north breeze around not only tonight, but again during the day tomorrow. It's going to be windy, especially in the west side of the valley tomorrow. We have 72 degrees. It's mild, although cooler than yesterday. Wind out of the northwest at 14. In Stockton, we have clear skies, 70 degrees. Here, the wind too is over 10 miles an hour. In Modesto, blue sky right now, 71, breezy. And I think tomorrow is also going to have a similar breeze. Not good allergy situations when you have this kind of north wind. And look at Fairfield, northeasterly at 20. Fairfield, Vacaville, Davis, Dixon, Woodland, some of the windiest areas in our area with the north wind. And I think those spots will be windy both tonight and tomorrow. And in South Lake Tahoe, we have clear skies, 53, and the wind is calm. The high temperatures today, although mild, were cooler than yesterday. Yesterday, Sacramento, for instance, went over 80 for the first time this year. Today, 73. We had 72 in Stockton, 75 in Fairfield. The foothills stayed in the 60s. Tomorrow, we start a warming trend, getting back into the upper 70s to maybe as high as 80 degrees. We'll keep clear skies in the area tonight. A little passing weather system to our east and to our north is going to kick up that north wind that we'll have around during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow's the windy day. Once we get into the day Wednesday, this high moves back in. We'll have sunshine, light winds, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all mostly sunny and warm with highs up around 80 degrees. Once we get into the weekend, however, a little bit of a change will take place with a system to our north that'll bring us a few clouds and lower temperatures. But right now, I don't see anything that's going to bring us any rain or snow. So let me show you the 7-day forecast for the Sierra. Cooler tomorrow, then warmer through the week with highs in the 50s. Heading into the weekend, there may be a few clouds with highs in the 40s, but nothing in the way of snow and nothing that's going to slow you down traveling on any Sierra roadways. Tomorrow we'll see highs in the 40s in the Tahoe Basin and 50s in places like Pollock Pines. The Sierra, the east side of the Sierra, will be quite a bit cooler than today. The foothills will be breezy, especially once you get down the hill from Highway 49. Up from 49, you'll have a little bit less wind. Looking for a high of 75 in Sonora and 70 in Placerville. Fairfield making it to 82, but yeah, it's going to be windy in Fairfield and Antioch. Winds gusting over 30, maybe even over 35 during the day. It'll be breezy in the valley, warmer than today, upper 70s to maybe as high as 80. It'll also be close to 80 degrees in Sacramento, but tomorrow will be a breezy day. That wind calms down on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, we stay around 80 to 83 with overnight lows around 50. The weekend will turn cooler, but still nice for Easter weekend. A few clouds on Sunday with a high of 71. Back to you.
Mark, thank you. Well, action at the beach is about to return.
When we come back, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk getting ready to reopen rides and attractions in days.
Now to reopening California and a live look at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. This scene is going to look much different Thursday. That's when the boardwalk reopens after being closed for the past year because of the pandemic. Maintenance crews spent the day preparing the boardwalk for this week's reopening. Outdoor games and food concession stands are open, but soon some rides will be open for thrill seekers.
They're going to have a huge amount of pent-up demand with this long closure, and people are itching and ready to get back to the ride.
We will be selling ticket ride wristbands in advance, and people can make reservations for specific days, and that's part of how we will monitor capacity.
Whole lot of people excited about that, I'm sure. Rides will be shut down periodically for cleaning and sanitizing, and face masks are mandatory. In San Mateo County, the long-running annual fair returns this June.
Yeah, last year was only the second time in the fair's 87-year history that the family-centered event had to be canceled, and Ruben talks about the changes this year.
In the last year, it's been a makeshift hospital, a jury selection site, and a vaccination center. But what the San Mateo County Fairgrounds had not done was host a fair. Now that's set to change thanks to loosening restrictions statewide.
We looked into it and realized that the guidelines are applied to us.
That was early March, and so officials scrapped the drive-through/virtual county fair they had planned and are preparing for an in-person event, complete with animals, rides, and vendors galore.
We have some partners, unfortunately, who are out of business, and we've had to look at, to different contractors that we've worked with in the past, but not at our county fair, to fill in those shoes.
And for those who have survived, like Big Bubba's Barbecue, the news came in the nick of time.
This is our living. If we don't have fairs or festivals, we have to totally shut down and do something else.
They're hopeful the tide is turning, that more fairs will follow suit. But in Contra Costa County, theirs is still canceled. In Santa Clara County, it's still a drive-through event. The Western Fairs Association says for an industry that's been on hold, restarting isn't easy.
They laid off most of their staff. They changed their business model into survival mode. And so gearing up for an event like this is a huge endeavor for some of these fairs.
Also huge, the emphasis on safety. San Mateo County says it will be the single most important part of this year's fair. There will be timed ticket entry, temperature checks, and mandatory masks, among other things.
So we're constantly emailing. It feels like it's a 24/7 operation right now to get to where the fair should be come June 5th.
Well, this year's theme is Where Tradition Meets Innovation. The fair, by the way, is scheduled for early June.
While more businesses reopen and vaccinations continue, health officials are concerned about a potential fourth surge.
Right now, I'm scared.
We can win this by just hanging there a bit longer.
The latest trends and a spike in cases and the plea that we're hearing from the director of the CDC.
I'm Sally Kidd in Washington with a look at what has changed since George Floyd's death as the officer accused of killing him stands trial.
The case is not about split-second decision-making.
Derek Chauvin did exactly what he had been trained to do.
What a 911 dispatcher says she saw on surveillance video that prompted her to call police.
And flooding in Tennessee, tornado damage in Alabama, the devastation after a week of severe storms.
This is KCRA 3 News at 6:30.
Tonight, a plea from the head of the CDC, the director asking Americans to stick with the pandemic precautions just a little while longer.
Yeah, today officials announced that the U.S. has surpassed 30 million cases of COVID-19. Now, parts of the country are seeing a steady rise in cases.
I'm going to pause here. I'm going to lose the script, and I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom. We have so much to look forward to, so much promise and potential of where we are, and so much reason for hope. But right now, I'm scared. I'm speaking today not necessarily as your CDC director, and not only as your CDC director, but as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, to ask you to just please hold on a little while longer. I so badly want to be done. I know you all so badly want to be done. We are just almost there, but not quite yet.
Dr. Walensky went on to say that the U.S. has come a long way with 3 authorized vaccines.
KCRA 3's Matt Pritchard has more on today's message from federal health officials.
Right now, I'm scared.
A candid tone from federal health officials.
I so badly want to be done. I know you all so badly want to be done. We are just almost there, but not quite yet.
We can win this by just hanging in there a bit longer.
COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are rising nationwide, with deaths creeping up as well, sitting at an average of 1,000 people per day. Now, for weeks, those trends were dropping or holding steady, but spikes in travel and states reopening may be sending us towards a 4th surge.
The efforts now they're not unreasonable.
Outside experts say the responsibility falls on everyday Americans.
Don't just fully let up. There are others that you're affecting other than yourself.
You should wear a mask, keep a safe distance, wash your hands, and avoid large gatherings.
All the while, vaccination totals are climbing. More than 146 million shots administered, with 52 million people considered fully vaccinated. Now, President Biden is encouraged by those figures.
The progress we're making is a significant testament to what we can do when we work together as Americans.
But is quick to say the COVID-19 fight is far from over.
We still need everyone to do their part. We still are in a war with this deadly virus.
In Washington, Matt Pritchard, KCRA 3 News.
The CDC says the effectiveness of these different vaccines is becoming even more clear. A new real-world study shows both Moderna and Pfizer shots are 90% effective at preventing a COVID-19 infection. Well, it's the first day of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's murder trial in the death of George Floyd.
Chauvin knelt on the 46-year-old's neck back on May 25th last year as Floyd told Chauvin and 3 other officers on the scene that he couldn't breathe at the time. A warning, some of the video you're about to see is graphic. So the murder trial started with the state laying out its case against the former police officer, showing the jury the 9 minutes and 29 seconds of the George Floyd there being held on the ground by Chauvin and using his knee. The prosecutor, Jerry Blackwell, told jurors that it's clear that Floyd's death was a homicide, and he says it matches the patterns of someone who dies from oxygen deficiency.
You'll see him when he goes unconscious, and you'll be able to see the uncontrollable shaking he's doing when he's not breathing anymore. You will see that he does not let up and that he does not get up. Even when Mr. Floyd does not even have a pulse, it continues on.
Now, the defense lawyer, Eric Nelson, paints a different picture of what happened that day, telling jurors that officers struggled to arrest Floyd, who was resisting at the time, and that use of force is a necessary part of policing. During the arrest, Nelson says that Floyd put drugs in his mouth in an effort to conceal them from the police.
Mr. Floyd died of a cardiac arrhythmia that occurred as a result of hypertension, his coronary disease, the ingestion of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and the adrenaline flowing through his body. Derek Chauvin did exactly what he had been trained to do over the course of his 19-year career.
The first witness to testify was a Minneapolis police dispatcher. She said she saw part of Floyd's arrest on this city's surveillance camera. She says she was concerned because the officer hadn't moved after several minutes. So she called a duty sergeant, which is something she said she wouldn't usually do because it was beyond the scope of her duties. Today in court, the audio from that call was played.
I don't know if they had used force or not. They got something out of the back of the squad, and all of them sat on this man. So I don't know if they needed you or not, but they haven't said anything to me yet.
Yeah, they haven't said anything unless it's just a takedown, which doesn't count, but...
Okay. I'll find out. No problem. We don't get to ever see it, so when we see it, we're just like, well, that looks a little different. All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye. There just something wasn't right. I don't know how to explain it. It was a gut instinct to tell me that now we can be concerned.
And what did you decide to do?
I took that instinct and I called the sergeant.
Chauvin's trial is being live streamed, which is a first in Minnesota. The judge ordered cameras be allowed mostly because of the pandemic. There's almost no room for spectators in the courtroom. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty. That trial is expected to last up to 4 weeks. Floyd's death sparked nationwide protests and calls for reform.
We've seen conversations and change in attitudes about race and social injustice since the death of Floyd, but advocates argue that major reforms on police conduct are still needed. Sally Kidd takes a look now at what has changed since then.
The killing of George Floyd ignited protests, toppled monuments, and led to calls to defund police.
It was an awakening for a lot of white Americans who had never fully believed in the racist policing practices.
Today, the first witnesses took the stand in Officer Derek Chauvin's trial.
Somebody needs to be held accountable. Yes, sir. And we're going to demand that.
Floyd's death prompted calls for change, and some state and local jurisdictions followed suit with a variety of police department reforms. On Capitol Hill, the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act passed the House. It establishes new policing standards, bans chokeholds, and stops no-knock warrants, among other measures.
It's a good start. I mean, we have to start somewhere. We have to, at some point, recognize that there is an inequality here that's causing people to die in America.
There's a lot that needs to be done to try to address racial tensions between police forces and the communities that they serve. I do not believe, however, in having a complete system overhaul.
The bill faces an uphill battle in the Senate.
It focuses an awful lot on what the left believes are racially discriminatory practices among police forces that I think is going to make it very, very difficult to achieve bipartisan support.
Sally Kidd, KCRA 3 News.
Now, Congress has been at an impasse on this issue since Floyd's death last summer. Democrats blocked a Republican reform bill that sought to limit chokeholds. It also would have provided money for body-worn cameras.
Federal prosecutors filed new sex trafficking charges against Ghislaine Maxwell, the former associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Prosecutors allege she recruited and groomed a 14-year-old girl to engage in sex acts with Epstein as recently as 2004. Prosecutors also charged Maxwell with 1 count of sex trafficking conspiracy. She's been previously charged with New York federal prosecutors with conspiracy and enticing minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts.
Well, parts of Tennessee are dealing with severe flooding after major storms over the weekend. 4 people died during those weekend storms, and fire crews say they responded to more than 250 incidents with dozens of people being transported. A local state of emergency was declared in Nashville because of all the flooding.
The President and the White House continue to monitor the situation very closely and stand at the ready should any federal assistance be requested or required. At this time, no requests for federal assistance have come in.
The National Weather Service says most rivers and creeks in that area have crested, while others are almost to that point. Officials say that it could take a few days for those high waters to go back down.
Now to Alabama, where the governor surveyed damage from last week's storms. Governor Kay Ivey toured the devastation in Calhoun County, where 5 people were killed on Thursday. In 1 week, central Alabama was hit with at least 36 tornadoes.
Tornadoes ripped through our state, causing destruction and devastation and claiming the lives of about 5 fellow Alabamians. Today, every Alabamian grieves for these families and their losses, and our hearts and prayers go out to these families who lost loved ones.
Now the governor is relying on city and county leaders to go through the damage and gather information to find out if they meet the threshold for federal assistance. The container ship blocking the Suez Canal has been fully dislodged, ending a 6-day saga. Satellite images from overhead show how the ship was finally freed. Tugboats surrounded the ship in both directions, and they were able to pull the bow from the sandy bank. Now, the ship was blocking one of the world's most important waterways. It stopped almost 400 ships and tens of billions of dollars worth of cargo. It's going to take several days to clear up the congestion, and it could take months to repair the damage to the global chain supply. Still not clear yet what caused this ship to get stuck. Initially, it was thought that sandstorms and high winds were to blame, but Egyptian officials haven't ruled out the possibility of human or technical errors. Today, we take a moment to honor those who fought in the Vietnam War.
The remembrance ceremonies for the thousands of soldiers who died or are still missing.
And even during a pandemic, these family-owned businesses found a way to serve the community. Up next, their journey and their passions.
And in the weather, beautiful day. That's the way it looks in Tahoe. Well, the sky is blue. Notice that there's a little haze out there. I'll explain what's going on here in just a couple of minutes.